The 2002 United Kingdom 50 pence coin holds a place within the ongoing narrative of modern British numismatics as both a practical means of commerce and a historical artifact reflecting the cultural, political, and artistic currents of its time. Introduced in the wake of the decimalisation of Britain's currency in 1971, the 50 pence piece had, by the early 21st century, become one of the most recognisable and frequently handled denominations in the nation's coinage. Its unusual equilateral curve heptagon shape, 7 equal sides with rounded corners, was originally designed to satisfy a mechanical requirement. It needed to roll smoothly in vending machines while remaining visually and tactilely distinctive from other coins. This design, pioneered by the Royal Mint's engineers and endorsed by its artists, had already undergone one major transformation before 2002. The original, larger 50p of 1969-1997 had been reduced in size in 1997 to its now familiar smaller format, making it lighter, easier to carry, and more aligned with international coinage trends favoring reduced metal content for cost efficiency. The 2002 issue was therefore part of this second-generation 50p series, using the smaller size that measures 27.3 mm across its widest points, with a weight of 8.00 grams, and struck in cupro-nickel 75% copper, 25% nickel, giving it a silver-gray luster that could be polished to a soft brilliance when freshly minted, yet dulled gracefully with circulation. The obverse of the 2002 50 pence, as with all circulating British coinage of the period, bore the definitive portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by the sculptor Ian Rank Broadley, introduced in 1998. This fourth major portrait of the Queen to appear on UK coinage depicted Her Majesty facing right, crowned with the tiara she had worn in earlier effigies, but presented with a greater degree of realism than in past designs. Rank Broadley's approach was to reject the trend toward idealized youthfulness in monarchic portraiture, instead portraying the Queen as she truly appeared in her 70s. The level of facial detail, the lines of experience, the depth in the eyes, the subtle modeling of cheekbones and chin, brought an almost photographic quality to the coin. Surrounding the effigy ran the legend, Elizabeth II DG Reg FD, followed by the date, 2002. The abbreviation stands for Dei Gratia Regina Fidei Defensor, meaning, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith, a traditional titulary dating back to the reign of Henry VIII. The obverse was struck in high relief to ensure durability in circulation, the raised features retaining their definition even after years of wear, and protected by the slightly recessed fields of the curved heptagonal flawn. The reverse design of the standard 2002 circulation 50 pence was the work of Christopher Ironside, whose original motif from 1969 had remained in use for decades, the seated figure of Britannia. Personifying Britain as a strong, maritime nation, Britannia is shown wearing a Corinthian helmet and flowing classical robes, holding a trident in her right hand, a nod to naval supremacy, and resting her left hand on a shield emblazoned with the Union flag. At Britannia's side sits a lion, the heraldic symbol of courage and strength, lying in a calm but watchful pose. To her lower left lies an olive branch, representing peace, a subtle reminder that Britain's military might was ideally exercised in the service of stability rather than aggression. The denomination, 50 pence, is inscribed along the bottom arc of the reverse. This imagery had become so deeply ingrained in British identity that its removal from most denominations in later years, in favor of the 2008 Shield of the Royal Arms series, provoked nostalgia among the public and collectors alike. In 2002, however, Britannia still reigned supreme on the reverse, and her depiction carried the accumulated symbolic weight of more than 3 centuries of representation on British coinage, going back to Charles II in 1672. Yet 2002 was also a notable year for commemorative 50 pence coins, most prominently the issue marking the 17th Commonwealth Games held in Manchester. This special commemorative reverse, designed by Matthew Bonacorsi, replaced Britannia's classical imagery with a dynamic, modern composition showing an athlete in mid-stride against a stylized globe, with the radiating lines suggesting motion and energy. The design integrated the official Commonwealth Games logo and incorporated the inscription, 17th Commonwealth Games 2002, along with 50 pence. Uniquely, 4 slightly different versions of this commemorative were produced, each featuring a small flag in the upper left of the design representing one of the 4 constituent nations of the UK, England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. These subtle variants gave rise to one of the more fascinating modern British coin collecting subfields, with enthusiasts hunting for a complete set of all 4 flag versions. Mintage numbers varied among these, making some scarcer than others, the Northern Ireland version, for example, is significantly rarer than its England counterpart and commands a higher premium in the numismatic market. From a production standpoint, the 2002 50 pence coins, both standard Britannia reverses and the Commonwealth commemoratives, were struck at the Royal Mint's facility in Llantrisant, South Wales. Modern minting technology in 2002 involved high-speed presses capable of producing hundreds of coins per minute, yet the preparation of dies, the annealing and blanking of planchettes, and the quality control inspections remained critical stages to ensure each coin met rigorous standards. The cupro-nickel alloy was selected not merely for its durability in circulation but also for its resistance to tarnishing and corrosion in the damp British climate. The blanks were cut from rolled metal strips, cleaned, and then subjected to an upsetting mill that created the raised rim before being struck between hardened steel dies at immense pressures. For proof and collector editions, particularly of the commemorative designs, the Royal Mint used specially prepared dies in multiple strikes to achieve a mirror-like field and frosted relief, packaging these coins in presentation cases or annual coin sets. In historical context, 2002 was the Queen's Golden Jubilee year, marking 50 years since her accession to the throne in 1952. While the Jubilee itself was not commemorated on the 50 pence denomination, other denominations bore that honor. The general numismatic output of the year was infused with a sense of celebration and national pride. The Commonwealth Games in Manchester, a major international sporting event, provided a perfect occasion for the Royal Mint to highlight modern British achievement alongside its deep traditions. This duality, the timeless Britannia for everyday commerce and the energetic athlete for the commemorative, reflected the balancing act of a nation honoring its heritage while engaging with a rapidly changing, globalized world. For collectors today, the 2002 50 pence coins offer multiple avenues of interest. Standard circulation Britannia issues are readily available and serve as entry points for those building date runs of the denomination. The 2002 Commonwealth Games series, by contrast, presents a more challenging pursuit, especially for those seeking high-grade uncirculated examples of all four flag variants. Prices vary depending on condition and scarcity, with the Northern Ireland and Wales variants generally fetching more than the England and Scotland ones in equivalent grades. Error coins from 2002, while relatively uncommon, include mis-strikes, off-center strikes, and examples struck on incorrect planchettes. These are avidly sought after by specialist error collectors. Proof editions, particularly those with the commemorative reverse, remain popular as part of the Royal Mint's annual proof sets, often housed in plush cases with certificates of authenticity. In numismatic literature, the 2002 issues are frequently cited as examples of how the 50 pence denomination has been used as a canvas for both traditional and contemporary designs. They also illustrate the trend, in the early 21st century, toward multiple design variants within a single commemorative theme, a practice that adds depth and complexity to collecting but also sparks debate about whether such multiplicity is driven by artistic intent or by marketing considerations. Either way, the 2002 50 pence stands as a testament to the adaptability of the denomination, equally at home bearing the serene, timeless Britannia or the vibrant imagery of international sport. Over time, as Britain moved toward new reverse designs in 2008 and continued issuing a proliferation of commemoratives thereafter, the 2002 coins acquired a certain historical charm. They encapsulate a moment when the Royal Mint balanced restraint, still issuing the classic Britannia, with the willingness to experiment, as seen in the four-flag Commonwealth Games series. For future historians of currency, they will represent both continuity and change in British coinage policy, as well as the intertwined narratives of national identity, international engagement, and the everyday life of money in early 21st century Britain.